Have you noticed maybe other colleagues who were fearful to sort of talk about it or get into the topic, but now you've seen them get into it because of maybe some groundwork you've laid?
Well, there are members of the Galileo Project that joined us as a result of their curiosity. But by and large, the pushback that my approach gets, and that is often a very aggressive pushback where
Sure.
people are just not even following physics the way it should be followed, and just making all kinds of assumptions that are not valid. In fact, even this morning, I had to reply to a few emails of that nature. When young people see this pushback, they're really fearful because they want to get a job. And if they get attacked like I am, they would have difficulties finding a job. And so I call it regression to the mean. They basically go into the mainstream and do not deviate from the beaten path because they're worried about their prospects in academia. I think that's the biggest damage, because people like myself, I'm well established. I can study things that might be risky. And the fact that there is no advocacy or acceptance for multiple views deters young people from innovating, and that's really bad.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what are your solutions to that? If you
Well,
had control and you could do, you know what I mean? What would you do?
yeah, very simple. Get a flood of data, as much data as possible about these anomalies, such that eventually there will be no simple interpretation. It will not be a hydrogen iceberg or a nitrogen iceberg. We'll have so much data about the next object that looks like Oumuamua that it will be clear what it is, what its nature. And if it happens to be technological in origin, we will know it. So it's really the gray zone where people can be in denial, where there isn't enough data, or they don't want to collect data and maintain their views. But as far as I'm concerned, a flood of data, as much data as possible, would be a great blessing. And that includes, interstellar meteors that collide with Earth, came from outside the solar system, and could be a Tesla Roadster car, could be something produced by a more accomplished space entrepreneur than Elon Musk. There must have been some like him or better than him since the Big Bang 13.8 billion years ago. So that's, I really want more data, and I think it will come. And the only reason that the denial is possible is because the data is not sufficient to conclude. And part of this is because people are not motivated to look for the data because of the pushback. So it's a circular argument, as you can see. And I think it will break in the coming years. I'm trying to do my best with the Galileo Project. We hope to go on a second expedition to collect bigger pieces of the original meteor in the Pacific Ocean. We will build more observatories, altogether 4 of them within a year or two. And then there will be data from the Rubin Observatory. And I should say, I also placed a bet, shortly after the latest elections in the US, Peter Thiel said that nobody should bet against Elon Musk. And the following day, I placed a bet against Elon Musk on Medium.com because he said that we should not go. We should go to Mars. He said, because we are probably alone, and we have to preserve the human species against a single point catastrophe here on Earth. And my argument was that we're probably not alone. There are hundreds of billions of stars like the sun in the Milky Way galaxy alone, and there are trillion galaxies like ours, in the observable volume of the universe. And a substantial fraction of all the stars, at least a few percent of them, have a planet the size of the Earth, roughly the same separation. And so it's very likely that there were plenty of technological civilizations. Most of them died by now because most of the stars formed a few billion years before the sun. And so they went through what we are going through. So, we should just search for any relics they left behind, and these could be in interstellar space. So my bet with Elon Musk was, I'm willing to put 1% of my net worth against 1% of his net worth in a common pool, and then we'll use it to search for objects near Earth that look anomalous.
Yeah.
And with $4 billion, his 1%, we should be able to do quite a bit. And if in 10 years we don't find anything, I'm willing to give him another 1% of my net worth. I really think that it's a matter of investing the funds, putting the time and the effort, because without searching, we will not find anything.